Steve, I was on your podcast, I think back in November, December area, and I had a great time connecting with you. Got to learn a little bit about you. I know you were asking me more questions because I was the guest. And so I'm excited to have you on my podcast and share your journey in life, whatever that is, wherever we can go with this conversation. But first, I'd like to open it up where you could just share a little bit about yourself and what you're most excited at the moment right now.
Well, that's a great question. One, my goal this year is 1 million people see doing business with a servant's heart. Doing business in life, I just don't have it in my title. And I don't mean 1 million people see my podcast. If it happens, fantastic. But shared by people seeing the podcast, sharing the podcast, or hey, I just watched this podcast. Hey, there's a lot to be doing about this servant's heart and contributing to people's lives, have them be seen. So that's the first thing. The second thing is through my podcast and meeting incredible guests and very successful guests, I've launched a renewable energy company. We just today had a $150 million contract signed. One of our partners that we're going to work on building wind turbines around the country in many different locations. We've got about 5 billion in projects we're working on. And I'm excited because of the opportunity, but from a podcast perspective, be like, well, what's the podcast? Well, meeting all these people and ask them, nobody has land? Do you know anybody has a renewable, energy company, alternative energy company? Yeah, meet this. So it just happened this morning where I met somebody and they said, hey, I got a guy with 100 acres. He'd love to talk to you. The power of connecting and networking with a podcast is incredible. And I'm a walking example.
Yeah. And how long have you been podcasting for?
October of 2022.
That's great. And that's a long time. So you got past the 21 episode mark and a whole lot more than that. So that's what it takes, is just to keep on going, being consistent, showing up, and, connecting with guests just like yourself has been a game changer for me as well. And I just held my first live event last month, and, I had a great time. I had 5 other speakers. They were also podcasters. Except for one, she was a guest on my show. She was my 100th episode guest. She showed up to, be there to encourage me. And I said, can you go up there and speak? And she did. She spoke on being a guest on a podcast. And so I had a great time. And I'm sharing that because if I didn't start a podcast, I wouldn't have that small community to work with, and just to create that and so much more. So so is this how your renewable energy company came into play?
Yeah, building my community, just like you said, and building a network. Not everybody's going to help, but going out and serving them, doing a great podcast, edifying them, learning about what they do, learning how you can help them besides just being a guest on the podcast. And then that question comes back around, John, and they go, man, thank you so much. How can I help you? Mm-hmm. Well, I need land, this and that. And oh my God, I got this guy. I can't believe you're asking. And this is very unique and niche-y. So not a lot of people are doing it, but it's amazing how many people have actually shared. Or people will go, hey, I really don't know anybody in that space, but I'll keep my ears out or my eyes out. And some people have referred me later to people that fit that niche for me because they've run into those people. To see, I left a mark on them by serving them through that podcasting show.
Right. And so how many guests have you had, roughly, episodes?
I don't know exactly. I just did 653.
Okay. So that's a lot, right? So let's just say you had over 600 some guests on your show. So you met a lot of people sharing whatever they're doing in life, their business and whatnot. And so you became like a networker. Now, has this always been something for you, podcasting? I mean, or were you somewhere else first networking with people before you started a podcast?
Yeah, I started networking back at 18 years old, John, at a health club. My family launched a health club. I just got done with high school. I was going to community college and play football there. Didn't make the team, first time I've ever been cut. It's kind of a memory I'll never forget. It was good because we have to have losses to learn how to get past those. But I worked the front desk and I'm working with 50, meeting 40, 50, 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds. Some rarely wealthy guys driving top Mercedes. Mac is 1979. This, back in the day, but they were doing quite well. And I realized instead of the conversation would be, hey, Joe, have a great workout. Hey, Joe, have a great day. It was, hey, Joe, how was your son? How did he do in his baseball game? Hey, Tim, how was your trip to Bahamas? Hey, Debbie, did you have your grandchild yet? What was I doing? I was building relationships with people much older than me, but they were giving me gifts back like tips, resources, taking me out to lunch, thanking me for something, whatever it may be. And I started learning about really treating people right is a gift, but the gift does come back like a boomerang.
Yeah. Do you feel like sometimes that you're giving so much before you receive back?
Yeah, I used to give way too much. And I'll explain this. I met a gentleman, Tony, who did 250 million a year before in his business. I went, holy moly, got to give me the secret sauce. He said, I wake up in the morning and I serve. Before I go to bed, I think about who am I serving tomorrow. It could be competitors, prospects, my staff, my managers across the board. If I could serve them, I'll serve them. So I told him, I'm doing the same thing. I'm doing this and this and this. He says, what happens when somebody asks you, how can I help you? I'd go and literally put my hand up. If you're watching this, if you're not, you can see it. I'm good. And so I'm thinking, hey, John, I gave you a bunch of these referrals. You're good. He said, Steve, no, 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 no. I was real wondering why other people were growing and I wasn't. He said, subconsciously, you turn them into takers. Because when somebody gives you a gift and asks back how they can reward you and you say no, now they're not walking away, so what an a-hole I am. They're subconsciously thinking, God, he didn't accept my gifts. They don't remember me. I'm not top of mind. But when I go, hey, I need people to own land. Oh, let me think about it. John, things took off.
Interesting. So you have to be willing to receive back.
Amen.
That,
That's
yeah,
it.
that's a good way to look at it. So you were 18, you were in the health club and stuff, and you were getting to know all these older gentlemen that were doing really well for themselves. What happened to you then after that?
Well, here's the power of networking, John, that we've talked about, and I'll put it in real life. So we sold in 2000. That probably was 30 years old. I don't remember the age, but I didn't have a resume. I worked at a health club for 28 years or 25 years. That's all I did. So to go out and get a job, my resume go, who? I can't hire you. What? You've done nothing. I mean, it could have, but one of the members reached out and said, I'm launching a restaurant. Would you help? I know nothing about the industry, but I need a job. So I said yes. And key is I took action, even though I was uncomfortable, I wasn't sure. Well, we started going, he started teaching me. And within 6 months, we we're the number one restaurant on the street, making money hand over fist. And what I had done was reached out to my network in the health club and said, guys, I'm at this restaurant. Come visit me. It'd be great to see you again. Because what did I do? I built all those relationships over the years. As I walked through the gym, hey, how's it going? Hey, let me help you. Hey, let me take care of all your bills wrong. Doing all that serving all those years, now it came to fruition here. And then 3 years later, I launched a recycling company. Same thing. Reached out to all the people I still was connected with, which was thousands. Said, hey, I started a recycling company. I was six figures within 6 months. More money in my bank account I've ever seen. Take care of people, build the relationships, good things will happen.
That's great. And I love how you're sharing this because in my head, I'm thinking like network marketing, like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, and I've done a few of them myself. I never really took off with anything, but you start somewhere, you're like, okay, this is fun. And then you see something else, another shiny object, right? And you jump into that one and you try to bring the people over that you already had in the other one. So, um, it- just the way you're explaining it to me, I'm thinking it like that, but it's a totally different thing, right? Because you're not looking to receive in money exchange. You know, what I mean, it's not something that you're after, or even though it does happen, right? So the power of networking, sounds like for you, Steve, has really changed your life completely, and then got you to
Immensely.
yeah, and got you to podcasting and so much more. So I can only imagine where you're going to go from here after your energy business you got started. You know, what I mean, and you just shared that with me today, so I had no idea about that. So that's awesome. What? So besides the podcast, are you like going to networking groups or like that, or are you just staying in touch with the people that you had on the podcast?
I've stopped going to networking groups about 5 years. No, it's December of 23. So 2 years. Seems like a lot, 5 years. I used to actually run them. People would ask, hey, can you be part of it and show up and be the leader of the group? But I realized I was stagnant. They're great opportunity for you're starting a business. You need to grow your network. But it gets to a point where you level out. And that's okay. If you're happy where you're at financially, that's great. I wanted to do more. I want more abundance. That's where the podcast came in. Because the networking groups, I didn't know who was going to show up. We had a meeting today at, let's say, at 10 a.m. Me, you show up, and 10 other people. They could have all showed up the week before. Again, I'm very fair with this. It's not a, it's a little problem. But if that happens week after week, are you growing? Are you growing your network? Are you asking for referrals? I saw that missing in these networking groups that I was part of. And there's others that are doing a better job. But when it came to the podcast, that's my new network. So I can go, John, you're a great guy. You're a great host. I'd love to have you on my show and see where I can fit you in my network. Now I'm building my community, not being, and nothing wrong with these groups, not BNI, not these other networking groups, because there's a place for them. But now Steve Ramona can build his own. Very successful people. Now I'm looking for millionaires. I've had some billionaires on, NFL athletes, looking for more athletes, but it allows me to scale, which has happened because of it.
Yeah, it does open up so many doors with the guests and stuff. I'll share with you. I had people all across the world. And Tasmania is one of them that I could think of because she's been on twice already, and hers is all about paranormal activity. Completely different than what you and I would think right now. But like, I would never have that connection with that person if it wasn't for going through a Facebook group and say, "Hey, do you want to be on my podcast?" or something like that, right? And it was just like, we get to do an exchange like this. I can feel your energy through the screen. She shared that with me. Like, I had no idea until I had her on. I'm like, she's right. I'm like, I can feel the emotion, the energy that you're giving off to me through the screen. I know it sounds weird, but it's so true.
Real.
Because you might have those guests that, you interview and it just doesn't sit right. There's no vibe there. Um, so and with the networking groups that you shared, I do remember reading a book too, where that guy said in the book, like, I would never go to the same networking group twice, right? Because usually it is the same people showing up time. It's basically like a club, you're just like shooting the shit and, see how the day was in a sense. Unfortunately, for some of them, there's some really good ones I've been to, and I would love to attend them and get to know those people, build relationships and the connections. And that's the deep level. And that's the deep level I know you have on your podcast. When I was on as a guest, like, you dove into me, you dove into not just what I do, but me as a person, right? And what I can give back to the people I connect with. So, Steve, besides the podcast, and your energy thing, what do you see in the future for you so far? Maybe there's something else already coming up. I don't know.
Well, I love to start a foundation for children. I don't have children for myself. I think God just gave me the opportunity to take care of other people. My wife has 4 kids that I help take care of. They're older, but being there for children is a passion of mine. I've always loved make a wish foundation. So always started something with sports. The other thing I want to do is, and you said earlier about having that speaking event. I want to do an event that's surrounded around serving in business event, how to massively grow your business by serving. I don't know the name yet. I want to do that in 2026, but I want to get that message out more. I think I'm going to take that back. I know it's important and I know it's needed. Someone, like, I had a podcast guest this morning. She goes, Steve, you are needed so much. This is missing. I talk to people all the time that are pitching. And they're going, I'm not making any money. Or money goes up and down in this because they're not building those relationships. So I'm excited about that, meeting some wonderful people like you and then trying to build, like what you built, a great event.
Yeah. and it was fun. So I did it. I was just sharing. I did it for free. I knew the guy that had the venue. He's like, oh yeah, just try it out, right? And speakers were free. Everything was free because I was like, I don't know how this is going to be. I don't. Let's just have fun,
Sure.
right? Everybody had a great time. We recorded all the speaking opportunities, and so like everybody was able to shoot that out if they wanted to. But I think I like the what you're talking about with the helping children and stuff. Like that's a big deal, and that's a game changer. I tried to see if I could get a guest in the area on, but I never heard back. But there was somebody at my church that they do foster care, right? And supposedly that person that was representing the company said that the person that has the company was a foster child. And so to be going through that and then the helping other kids and other families connect, like I thought that would be something awesome to listen to and have. Um, Unfortunately, I haven't gotten to that point with that person, but it made me think at a deeper level of if I had the opportunity to take a kid in, if I could, right? So whatever you can do to support the children that you're after is great. So um, do you see like a timeline or like like the next direction to get that going for yourself?
Watching The Rock and the Shaquille O'Neal, Shaq has a documentary, and I've seen stuff Rock have done. I think I'm going to lean more because of my energy company, lean more towards some type of multiplex sports complex that I would pay for or get sponsors. I'd pay for part of it, get people to pay for some place where kids can go out and play again. It's so missing right now. I'm 63 and people go, yeah, you're older. Back in the day, that's all you had. You didn't have a phone. And they're absolutely right. But these bodies are made to move. And seeing behind a computer doing what we're doing, which is a necessity. And I'm not saying not to do that, but I try to work out 6 days a week for 45 minutes. I don't kill myself, but I move and move my body because that's what it's made to do. And I think we start when they're younger, it's going to go carry on because I started at 18 years old and I haven't stopped since. And my dad was one of my inspirations. Love you, Dad, because he was working out at the gym when I was a young guy. And once he started, he quit smoking and lived till 91 years old and lived a beautiful life. And I want to do that too. And I've had some small health scares, but I know my working out helped me because it made them small. So again, if I can, and there's so much fun to watch kids go out and play flag football or basketball or whatever it may be. And I think sports is a great learning lesson in life for kids. You're going to win and lose in life. And go play a game. We have a scoreboard. You lost it. That's okay. What can we learn to win next time? Don't dwell on the loss. Dwell on how we could get better. God, I can't think of a better lesson for kids.
Yeah. That's a great lesson. I enjoy I have two kids. My son's 15, my daughter's 12. Yeah. And my daughter's more outgoing and I love just getting her to do different things, right? Um, we haven't done the rock climbing thing yet, but I love to get her into that and just try new experiences. And so like what you're talking about, I could just see it, right? I could just imagine what you're sharing. Because we have an old supermarket closed down, right? There's nothing in it, right? I mean, what a great opportunity to throw in like a YMCA in a sense, right? And the kids just play. It could be dodgeball, it could be anything. That's what you need. You need it. You need to put these down, the phones and stuff, and like let's start being friends again and having a good time.
And try to make it free. That's my goal. But also as a parent, you can drop your kids off for a couple hours. There'll be adult supervision, but they're out having fun. The adults can go shopping, do the 2 hours of what they couldn't do with the kids. That can be a little obstacle. So now you give freedom to the kids, but let's not forget the parents.
True.
Maybe they
Yes.
go to a movie at a date. So
Yes.
we're going to drop it off at Steve's facility. And what have I done? I've served them and I've served the kids. You get me all excited. I've got to make the money tomorrow.
I was just thinking the whole dating thing too, like because you got to build that relationship or it fades away, right? And
Yeah.
so it's helping everybody,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it brings joy to you because you have this going as well. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's the more I think about it, the more I have to start taking notes, work this thing out, which is really good. I've got a lot of, again, and here's the great thing, audience, about networking. I could go to my network. Guys, here's what I want to do. Who wants to help me? Maybe it's financial, maybe it's physical, maybe it's a combination of both, but I know I don't have to do it myself because a lot of people want to be part of that community, part of taking care of kids. I just had a gentleman today who 7 years ago lost his son, 14 years old, to suicide. I'm hearing this more and more. It's really God's telling me this message. Hey, you need to help kids. And I'm thinking, could we have saved him from dying by suicide if he had a place to go? And let's not forget the friendships he's built. Maybe he's being bullied at school, but now he's got friendships. This could really roll into something pretty powerful. Just got to take action and do it.
Yeah. It, you know, it's serving different people in a different way because you're looking at the younger generation, right? And so like with the whole podcasting, you're building a network and all that stuff, and you could build that network to have people come to this facility that you would be creating for the kids. Um, but yeah, you're building the network of just kids just being kids again and having that joy. And what if, wow, that question was deep when what if you could have saved him, right? You,
It's
if not him, somebody else then right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
I forgot the stat. It's pretty high. Oh, it's 35 to 40%. I think children at 18 are dealing with mental health issues.
Oh,
That's too many. 5% is too many. But when you get to 35, 40, yeah, the death by suicide is low in America. But let's think about it. Oh, it's not going to happen to my kid. But what if it did? This guy's life completely changed. I have another, now a friend and great podcast guest. He lost his son at 17 years old from fentanyl poisoning. Became an alcoholic. Him and his wife just started drinking. She died a year later from alcohol poisoning.
no.
And he was a shotgun away, taking his own life. And he had two other boys. He said, I can't leave them, thank God. So it's happening. How much? One is too many.
Yeah.
In my eyes.
It is. It's way too many. That's horrible. I'm sorry. Yeah,
It's a tough world for kids these days.
it is. And you can blame it on a lot of things, right? And I know the phones and stuff would be number one because it's everybody sees, oh, somebody else is doing so much better than me. When they're really not. But yeah, so it puts them in that place is like, who am I? Why am I here? What's the point? And unfortunately, that's where they start thinking things and they don't connect. They don't reach out to people and us as parents, like I'm a parent. So, me as a parent, I have to show up. Like I have to be there, and support them and guide them in any direction that I can, whatever suits them well. And so, we have to step up too. Like it's not just the kids. Like we have to, hey, let's get off our crap. We're gonna go for a walk, leave the crap in the I'm talking about the phones and stuff.
Yeah.
Leave that in the car and let's go have a good time and just walk in the field or whatever, right? But we have to do that. So us as parents have lost it as well. Maybe not mentally, but with the maybe the stress and everything with work and having to, yeah, like I'm a single parent, so I have to take care of the house. I have to go work all the time. I'm doing everything right in my own place. So all that stress, you kind of like, unfortunately, you push them aside sometimes, right? And you don't want that. So we have to understand where our lack of communicating with our own children is and become better parents as well. Um, that's a lot, but I it goes both ways, I think. So we have to really, and we can control the devices too, right? So we can say, hey, you ain't getting this till you're 16 or something like that. Even though you might be the bad guy, you're they're gonna come back at you, but in the long run, it's better for them.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, those numbers that's scary.
It really is. And it really shocked me. And we could do something about it. That's the cool thing. It's not like it's not fixable. It's fixable. Unfortunately, it's going to take time. It's not something that'll happen overnight. It just won't. It just needs steps and direction. And you said, let's just do better every day. Maybe it's 20 minutes, don't use the phone. And I'm not parents, so I'm probably not the right person, but just thinking logically, I tell business people all the time, and this goes with life, just get better 1% every day. And do that with your parenting and go out and find people that are talking about these stories that mental health kids are talking about. And Jason Reed's his name. And he said parents need to communicate with their kids, not go, he had a great comment. He said, a son comes home and says, oh, my girlfriend just broke up with me. My whole world's going to end. Oh, come on. It's just a girl. You'll find there's 10 other girls out there. It's not getting to the root of the problem. Something's not right. Is that right? Yeah, there's 10 other girls, but is the son listening to it? No, because all he's focused on is I'm going to be alone. My life's over. I'm going to look like an idiot walking to school. I may get bored. So many different thoughts instead of just listening. Why do you feel that? Asking questions, like on a podcast, like in business. Parenting in life could be to just ask those questions and listen what your children are saying. If it's not right, here's why, explain it to them. What alternative can we do? Ask that question. We go on and on, but you get it. We need more of that. Instead of, I went to a restaurant a few months ago. John, I was blown away. It was two children and parents, obviously. Seemed like they were parents, and they were all on their phone.
Yeah.
And they're talking through their phone. Sitting across from a table from each other. The wife looked and went, holy crap. What's this world coming to?
Yep.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. And, so my daughter plays soccer and we'll go watch the game, me and my son, and I'll tell him, like, you get off the phone, pay attention, and just watch the game. Whether you like it or not, that's what we're doing, right? Because in the same sense, you would want her or somebody else on the other side to be there to support you as well and watch everything you're doing. That's how I look at it. So, and it's only an hour and a half out of your day. I mean, come on, you're going to go home and jump on your games and stuff anyways. So,
Good point.
it is. And they know that, the kids know that, not just my kids, but all kids, they all know that.
Well, they're much smarter these days. That's a part of the problem too. That thing in their hand is making them smarter.
True.
Good or bad, which is another challenge.
Yes. Yeah. Because now we have to fight that and say this is right and this is wrong. They see something 20 times, they think it's right, but it's actually the wrong thing to do.
Yeah. That's exactly it. Social media could be good and it could be bad. Like the internet can be. AI. We'll go down that hole, but we just got to manage it. Well, you said that earlier. Just manage it. Expectations, have them understand, be honest, be genuine.
Exactly. Yeah. And well, just real quick here, we were talking about communicating with kids, and it's funny how we got to this stage in life where communication is a big thing in all relationships. And so we had to find ways to ask deeper questions and get, like you said, to the root cause and go inside a little bit further and said, how was your day? Or you know what I mean? And all that, all those, that scratch the surface kind of stuff, like I'll ask my kids and they know this too. I'm like, I will, what was the best part of your day? Getting home from school, or whatever, or I would ask, like, how was your day? Like I'm using how, like, see if they, dive into something and I get fine. Right. So, I've tried, so how fine was it? Right. Nothing. It's just, it's a kid thing. Right. And plus when I'm talking to them, they're probably on their phone anyways. So they're multitasking in a sense.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I'm battling nothing there.
I got a great tip. Sure. And this is why I love my podcast. Jen Drummond, one of my guests, and become a really good friend. She actually broke the mountain climbing world record, K1, the only woman to do it in the short. She broke the record. And we were on my podcast, or maybe talking. I don't know if it was one or the other. And she has this thing with her kids. Now, she's a single mom with 7 kids. She runs a $1 billion financial company. Amazing. I said, "What? You got any tips for parents?" She said, "Yeah. we do the gratitude stop. I don't think they call it that, but what she does is when I have my kids in the car, all of them or some of them, when I come to a stoplight, I go, real quick, kids, what are you grateful for right now? Dun, 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 dun. Next stoplight, what are you grateful for? Give me one word. Love, my Xbox, my phone, whatever that may be, which leads to conversation. Well, Steve, why did you say your Xbox? Well, it makes me happy. I get it. And now you're delving into, and you don't have to do it at the stoplight. You could do it, at every top of the hour for 2 hours. Okay, what are you grateful for? Or just walk up at dinner. Hey, what do you guys, give me one word you're grateful for. It's so powerful, so simple. And that's what you got to do with children. You can't make it complex because they can't work through that. They're not there yet. So that's a little tip that I learned that I wanted to share. Thank you, Jen. Love you. She's a rock star.
That's
If
awesome.
you got 7 kids and a single mom, I'm going to listen.
That's exactly right. Everybody better be taking notes.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is great. Steve, how can somebody reach out and connect with you, whether it's the business ventures you're doing or, getting on your podcast or even just listening to your podcast, whatever else there is out there that connect with you?
Yeah, my podcast is Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Just search it. You'll find it on all the podcast, YouTube and all the podcast platforms. Also, I do podcast workshops and I do business mentoring for free. So just email me, stever1961@gmail.com. Mention John's podcast and I'll get you information how I can invite you to my free workshops. Or if you want to jump on LinkedIn, it's Steve Ramona, Ramona. And I love talking on LinkedIn. It's my place I live.
Awesome. And so I have one question to ask you. I ask everybody else. What are 3 key things you learned and used along your journey?
Shut up and listen. Ask questions. Got multiple things. Transform, not transact.
Can you, can you dive
about that?
Yeah.
I love to. Or transformational, not transactional, whatever version you want to use. When you are working with people, your foremost thought should be, how can I transform them? Maybe it's an introduction. Maybe it's, hey, I just heard, here's a tip that might help you. Maybe it's, hey, your background in your podcast on your Zoom is fantastic. Always looking at ways transforming by bringing them value, uplifting them, edifying them. Be genuine. Don't be transactional. John, you just said this. By the way, I've got a product that you need to buy because you're becoming transactional. Just met somebody, or you don't know them that well. You haven't built that relationship. So always thinking of ways to uplift people and grow them. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to build a massive network. And like I do, I get 3 referrals daily, 3 to 5 for the last 20 months. Imagine if you had 3 referrals daily, how your business or your life would change.
It would change a lot. Not just for me, but for everybody, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for expanding on that. I appreciate that.
You bet.
Yeah, and Steve, I enjoyed everything you shared. I know we went in so many different directions, so we could have expanded on a whole bunch of different things along the way. So maybe sometime down the road, you did mention. I want to bring this up. You did mention this is your 100th podcast episode that you were a guest on. So
yep.
Thank you. This is awesome. I did not see that coming, and maybe we'll have to do it again sometime. I don't know if it'll be 200th for you, but
who knows? I would love to come back. No, we're making a difference, and you're making a difference in this incredible podcast, and I love to be part of your journey.
Cool. I appreciate it. Yeah. So thank you, Steve. Thanks for coming on.
You're welcome. Thank you.